Hey everyone, Alex here from Japanese Masters, and today we're going to go over Minna no Nihongo, Lesson 4, Part 1, that is ima, something ji, something fun des. Okay, let's go ahead and dive right on into this. Okay, as you can see here we have our structure, ima, then something ji, something fun des. Let's start by translating this into English. What exactly would this be in English? Well, in English this is how you tell time. It's now, it is, something something time. Where the G here is going to be the hour, so like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and the fun is going to be the minute, so like 7:24, 7:26, 7:32, something like that. Let's go and break this structure down a little bit more, and hopefully you'll understand it better. Okay, so first we have our ima. Ima is going to be the Japanese word for now. So right here when I'm saying now it is whatever the time is, that's where the ima comes into play. Now, if you have been studying any other Japanese, you might have learned that usually after time, you're going to put the ni particle. However, when the time is relative to the current time, then you don't need the ni particle. So what do I mean by this? So if you're going to say now, you don't need the ni particle. If you're going to say tomorrow, you don't need the ni particle. Why? Because tomorrow is always changing. Tomorrow is relative to what it is right now. So right now is today, tomorrow is always tomorrow. Next week, same thing. It's relative to the time where you are right now. However, if you were to say something like May, May is always at the same time. So there you're going to have to use the ni particle because it's not relative to the current time. Where next week, tomorrow, yesterday, all that changes based on what the current time is right now. Something like May is always going to be the 5th month of the year. Okay, so the important thing for that, just remember, you don't need the ni after ima for this structure. Then we have our ji. Now, ji is going to mean time in hour in this instance, but if you've seen it in other structures, you might have noticed that it also serves as the function for when. In that case, it is actually pronounced as toki and not ji. It's a different reading for it. So if you see this usually attached to a number, it's most likely going to be an hour. If you see it attached after like a verb or something like that, then it's probably going to be toki, and it's probably going to mean when and not the hour. And next we have fun. Fun, in this instance, is going to mean minutes, so like minutes after the hour. However, do be careful. This is one of those confusing kanji that has a whole bunch of different meanings. For example, it can mean understand, like to understand, in the verb wakaru. And in that case, it's actually pronounced as wa, this kanji. Another example is bubun, where it means part, and it's bun in that one. So do be careful about this one, that you will see this in a whole bunch of different grammar structures, and it doesn't always mean minute. In this case, it means minutes after the hour or whatever. Now, there's one more thing that we need to go over here, and that is that this is not always pronounced as fun. It is only pronounced as fun when it comes after the numbers 2, 5, 7, and 9. When it comes after the numbers 1, 3, 4, 6, 8, and 10, then it becomes pun. So do be careful about that you are going to have to change how it is pronounced based on the number that comes before it. And there's one more little confusing thing as well. When you have 1, 6, 8, and 10, then the actual number itself also gets changed. So for example, if you had 6 minutes, then it would be ropun, not rokufun. That is not correct. It's ropun. It's actually kind of used to make the speech faster. Maybe at one time it was rokufun, but just try saying that. It's kind of hard to say. So over time it just got shortened and shortened and shortened until it's just basically ropun. So it's really, really fast, can be said in one fluid motion. Same with all these other ones. We have ipun, hapun, and jupun. And then for these, the ones that don't have anything before it, it would just be like sanpun or something like that. And then these, the normal ones, then it would literally just be nifun. So you're probably just going to have to sit down and memorize each of these because almost every single one of them is pronounced differently. Okay, one final thing that I want to go over is how to ask a question for what time is it. Well, in Japanese, we have nanji and nanpun for that. Notice that it is not naniji and is not nanifun. It is nanpun and nanji. That is the correct way to pronounce that. And the first one here, nanji, is basically going to ask what time is it. So you can, ask nanji desu ka, and that'll be what time is it. And this other one is basically to ask how many minutes, usually maybe how many minutes are remaining or how many minutes past the hour or something like that. Okay, let's go ahead and go through a couple of examples so that you really get this idea solid in your brain. Okay, the first one is It is 7:24 right now. That would be ima shichiji ni 14 分 desu. Now, the first thing that we should notice here is that 7 is not pronounced nanaji. I've heard it pronounced like a couple times, but shichiji is generally the agreed on correct way to say it. I think, as my professor said, if you said it the other way, nanaji, everyone knows exactly what you're talking about, but this one just sounds more natural, more like you're a Japanese person. Then we have niju yopun. Like I said before, this number falls into this category, so it needs to be pun and not fun, and it's not one of the special ones, so you can just do the normal way to say 4, yon, and then add pun after it. And then here's one thing that I forgot to discuss a second ago. It's only the last number that matters, so all of this is the number directly before the fun. So this niju just gets pronounced normally, but because this is the last number before fun, that's what changes it to pun. If it was any other number like 6, then it would become ro, as in ropun. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next example. The next example is, what time is it? I just thought I'd put in the simple question phrase if you want to ask someone what time it is. That would be, nanji desu ka? You can also put ima before that, so ima nanji desu ka? But you can do it without too, and it completely makes sense. And like I said before, this is our question word. It is not naniji or nanitoki. If you know the other reading for this kanji, it is nanji. And then after that, you just put your desu and your ka. The ka, of course, just being the question mark. Okay, let's go and move on to our final example. Our final example is, it is already 2:30. That's mo niji han desu ka? Now, the reason I added this sentence was to show what you're supposed to say when it's exactly 30 minutes. 30 minutes being halfway through the hour, which in English we have something to say for that. We have half past noon, half past whatever. Well, Japanese has the exact same thing. So instead of putting the actual time here, so instead of putting 30 minutes, you can just put han, and that means half past the hour. So remember that, not to have to say, the whole sanju and everything like that afterwards. You can just say han to mean half past that. So we have, of course, here our niji, which just means 2 o'clock, and then our han, which is the halfway to say 2:30. And then mo just means already, so it's already 2:30. And then our desu ka is just, of course, to ask the question. That is the end of today's lesson. I hope it made sense. This is just the really basic way to say time in Japanese. We'll go over more complex ways in future lessons, but for now, this is a really good basis to start being able to tell time and, say what time it is in Japanese. And this one you'll probably actually hear a lot, the nanji desu ka? What time is it? Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. I just launched or relaunched my website, Shogunate Japanese, where I'm going to be building Japanese courses. I have a course on katakana that I'm creating right now, as well as I'm putting all of these lessons in a course where I'm actually going to be writing out full descriptions and more details and everything like that that's going to accompany these videos. So if you want to check that out, the links are going to be in the description below. I should probably link the course that this is in, this exact lesson, and then maybe just the website as well. Other than that, keep studying Japanese, everyone. I'll see y'all in the next lesson. All right, everyone. See ya.